Right, a very good morning. It is the Wednesday edition of the Kokoliriko show. My name is Federick. Dramadri. It's about already 16 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. and also a lot of things. So we also welcome that at this show you'll be able to catch it live here on different social media platforms, on the television. My name is Federick Dramadri. I'll be taking you up to the hour of 9 a.m. This is a show that comes on your way on West Nile Television, that is located on Weatherhead Park Lane on plot number 39A, that is on Weatherhead Park Lane in Arua City. But also, if you have any other or business to do with the television, it's only easier for you to move to your email account and really share with the management on what you want to do, and that's one you really use the account address, that is West Nile TV station at gmail.com, is where you'll be able to interact with the management on the businesses that you want to transact on the television. But also, if you are within Arua City, you can walk to the television station. Okay, it's just a few meters from the city center, and that's where you'll be able to get the television on the eastern side, especially if you are from Golf Course. Okay, that's where you'll be able to locate the television. But also a lot of things that you'll be also enjoying when you come to the television station, and you want to trade with us. You have slots time for you to do adverts and also do any other thing that you wish to do. In case you have talk shows, you have events and so on, we are here to help you in that. But also, and those of you who are watching us in different parts of this region, we say welcome. And those of you especially, not forgetting those in Arua district and those in Zombo district, we say thank you very much. You know, the biggest issue within these two districts is now the issue of tamaking the road between Zombo and Arua district via Vra Customs, and this is one of the priority areas that government has committed to start the works, and this is one big issue there that is happening. I hope this will be able to actually transform a lot of businesses, a lot of lives, because really so many people use that highway, and this is just across or we will say along the border lines of Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. So there will be easy or free movement of businesses or goods and services from either of the countries, and this is courtesy of the current government of the Republic of Uganda. Remember, there's a lot that government is unveiling in order to transform the people, and there have been a lot of talks about East African community. Okay, this is coming due to the kind of businesses that these countries do, but also looking at the common characteristics that we all have. We remember the people within East Africa, most of them seem to be having the same ethnic classes, okay, and this is where really many people have to speak the same language, the same way of life, and so on, many other things that bring them together. So it's very important as a landlocked country to have good relationship with your neighbors. But also, those of you who are watching us from Koboko district and Koboko municipality, welcome you to the show, and this is the show well packed for you on current affairs, that you'll be able to understand some of the issues that are coming. But also, in case you have any other comment that you want to make around the show or whatever we're saying here, just move to your YouTube channel and check Kokoliriko Live. You will be able to share with us what you have on the issues that we'll be discussing here. But also, those of you who are watching us from Marasa district, welcome you. Those in Terego, those in Yumbe, those in Moyo district, welcome all of you to the show. And that is one of the biggest populated district. Okay, if you talk about Yumbe, where you have a big number of refugees hosted there, including those in Germany and Terego, not forgetting those who are there in Obongi and Madiokolo. These are the districts that are actually hosting large number of refugees in West Nile region, and this makes actually Uganda's refugee population very, very high. Comparing this to other parts of the country, and you realize that there are already issues to do with service delivery gaps cited because of the dwindling donor support that is coming, and that is where we'll be moving to after some time. But also those of you who are watching us from Nebi municipality and those from Nebi district, including those at the gate, that is a Pakwach district, welcome you to the show. And not forgetting those from Lango and the Cholshab regions who are watching us there, we don't forget you, we salute you too. And also those from the eastern side, I mean those who are watching us from Dokolo district, those from Soroti city, we welcome all of you to the show. And also I really appreciate that you people are great farmers, and I hope that the issues to do with cattle rationing that are always happening there should be coming down because of the recent deployment of the UPDF and also many other forces that were really put there to beef security, because really there were allegations about people crossing from Kenya to come and raid animals in Uganda, and those were the issues that were happening there. But also some of the people crossing also to Kenya to do other businesses that are not in line with the constitution of both countries, and that has been one of the issues to do with the security threats. And you understand that moving to do business across countries is one thing that you have to inform or involve the authorities in who are in those countries, especially at the immigration, what kind of things you are going to do. But most times people cross without actually notifying those officials that are put at those designated points of entry. So that is one thing that we need to really actually look at critically if we want to grow as a nation, as a country, as or somebody will say as a community in the East African community, but also as Africa as a whole. And that is very, very important, that we should be able to impress patriotism and nationalism that we always talk about. Some people say Pan-Africanism, meaning we have to be united as a team of all the countries in Africa, that we should be able to achieve development if we can work together. Okay, that's very, very important. And those of you who are watching us from the central region, and not forgetting those in Greater Kampala metropolitan area, we are very, very much impressed with your support, and also the massive use of technology that is coming that side. Remember, those are the people who are in the capital city who actually share with us a lot of things that are coming newly in the market. So it's through Western TV that you'll be able to advertise all those things that you have been in or creatively or innovatively doing. Okay, even that little business you are doing, whether a retail shop or what, we'll be able to advertise for you those merchandise that you have. Okay, very, very important for you to tap the eyes or the customers that have never seen you, and you find that they are calling you from elsewhere and ordering for those kind of things that you have. It's very, very important. This has been able to help people throughout the COVID-19, and also remember, people have been using some of these platforms to link with their friends, in-laws and so on from other parts of the countries to connect in a relationship, but also in doing businesses. It's very, very important that you have to have all those social media platforms. You have to have all other platforms to do marketing, to do any other thing that you will do to promote your business. Okay, very, very important. If you can do that, that will be very, very great for you. For those of you who are watching us from Western region, we say thank you very, very much. And also, not forgetting my friends from Chegegwa district. I wish you very, very good day for this time. But also, if you are tapping us on right now, we say thank you very, very much for joining us. And those of you who are from different parts of the world, we appreciate your participation, and also the world that we are going to discuss here. You should be part of it up to the end. After this, we'll be having the news in Lubarati. That will be at 9 a.m. by Feta Emmanuel, and that will be one interesting thing that will be coming on your way. But also many other programs will be lined up there. Not forgetting the Northern Request Hour and the Whistle Time, including the news in Alur that will be also coming at midday. Okay, we don't forget that. That is one thing. Impressing local content is one thing that we should be able to do together with you. And also, in the line of the issues that we'll be discussing, we have a couple of issues that we have already arranged for you here. Remember, the delayed release of election results in Democratic Republic of Congo is actually one of the things that is creating a lot of panic there. We'll be moving into that, how far it has gone, and also how about the preliminary results. What has happened is the issue that we'll be discussing with you there. But also, how about the citizen participation in nation building? What do we do? What do we need to do? What is it that we have been doing, and where is the gap? Is one other thing that we'll be discussing somewhere there. But also, on a sad note, in Western region, remember we actually buried yesterday one of the big business proprietors, and this comes the second burial for the business fraternity and some people who have been resourceful in this region, especially. Remember, a couple of weeks we have been burying the proprietor of Nice Tabas, and yesterday we buried the one of Popular Enterprises, that is Hadze Gule Musha. Okay, he's one of the prominent persons who has been able to be creative and innovative in changing the face of Arua city, but also looking at his capacity, he was able to construct the taxi park that is located at the abattoir. If you have ever come to Arua city, there's a taxi park there, and that is one thing that has been able to address the tax collection gaps. Okay, there were a lot of issues to do with street parking and so on. This was able to actually decongest the streets of Arua town, but also many other issues that will be unveiling shortly after this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to move forth with some of the issues that we have at hand. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Serve your family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Nova customers on satellite decoder simply pay 20,000 shillings special bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy smart bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
Hello viewers, my name is Federick Dramadri. I report news at West Nile Television. I also do the Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday discussing the issues on current affairs from the hour of 7 a.m. up to 9 a.m. Wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year 2024.
Awade fo midri angereto mini pezo West Nile TV nezo sawadi ma aliarese hazine mini vini ibizu otitandondo West Nile TV adi nezo rese miomve marusi feta Emmanuel ejolaza lape midri obitese erozo sawa nari erozo udua lo pere tazu udua aziani ani ameche tuambo Christmas nirumatiabo majokini lete tuambunde maati amadria moke azine adroma temibe ma kobine miaza ituambudi ma aldia ili odiri ma fivini amadria moke madia ni yokini ngoni Merry Christmas awadfo ituambosi adroma temibe.
This is time for working hard and producing and able to help somebody who is in need. Able to give to your loved ones. This is time for giving, for God so loved us and gave his only begotten Son. Do not go taking, give, and then you will receive. If you are planning to rob somebody, listen to me carefully, God is not happy with that. If you are planning to steal people's things, God is not happy with that. Destroy everything that makes you an enemy of your neighbor. It's only God who can destroy those tendencies in your life and that habit in your life, so that instead of taking, you are a giver, because we need to demonstrate love in our time. Again, this is not time for sexual immorality, but this is time for us to prepare ourselves to receive the blessing of God. Many of us are going to waste our bodies in going into people's homes and going with people's wives and going with people's daughters, and we are going to waste our lives out there. Listen, this is time for you to open your heart, open your hands, and receive the blessing of God. I speak to people who are listening to me. If you are listening to me and you are in West Nile, my region, will you make your body the temple of the Holy Spirit and guard it? Allow your body to be used to bless our region. Do not destroy somebody's relationship by misusing his wife or his daughter. Allow yourself to be a channel of blessing, because God brings you his life in order to bless other people. Again, this is not time for dancing the whole night. Some people are going to go into dancing spree, in discos and everything the whole night. In my place where I am seated, the devil has only given and deprived people who are wizards to dance at night. Why do they dance at night? Because they dance naked, which they can't do during the day. Why are you deprived of sleep? When you should eat and drink and praise God and go to bed and sleep, then go and worship God tomorrow without an hangover. Dancing at night, going to spend time out there with other women, with other girls, with other men, is not going to give you any benefit of celebrating such a day as this. And this is the time for praises. This is a time for worship of God, because God has given us a gift that we cannot afford.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier I told you that we are really in sorrow mode after losing big dignitaries, okay, big persons who are of development, who have that mind of helping the community, the society, and so on, is what we are here mourning. And that is the death of one of the popular business persons who started Arua city from the time it was a town board, okay. That is also one of the memorable persons, the husband to Hadzi Gule Musha, that is Nelisa okay, the woman member of parliament for Yumbe district. That's one sorrowful moment there. And yesterday he was buried in Yumbe district, and that's one thing there that I should be able to give you in this shortest minute. Okay, it's very, very important to actually sometimes remind ourselves with the where we are actually heading to, and also what we need to actually follow up from these kind of events. There are so many people who are instrumental in our societies. How do we give back to them when they are still alive, even if when they are sick? What is it that we can do to them to remember them? What is it we can do to actually maintain that legacy? How many of the business persons can we live to remember is one thing that we have. As a business person, how will you be remembered is also another issue. And for him, he was able to actually construct for us the taxi park that is at around the abattoir, the city abattoir that is in Arua city. But also this was able to actually increase on the town, the city's revenue. This is after really so many years of grappling with street parking and also many other issues that are happening there. But also is the proprietor of he was actually the proprietor of Popular Enterprises and many other businesses that we have in the city. And also looking at the kind of people we have been able to lose this year, you will realize that we started losing so big people in Western region. Not forgetting the proprietor of Nile Star bus services, okay. And also if you remember the death of the vice president UPC, that is Caleb Titia, where we were able to bury him around October or November there, and that is one other issue there. So there are so many people, big persons that we have been able to bury in this week or this year in Western region. So that is what we should be able to remind ourselves with, knowing very well that death is there, but we should be able to make sure that our legacy continues. Whatever we have been doing continues. That's the beauty of having teamwork at a workstation. Or maybe if you are the family head and you are gone, the wife should be able to pick it from there and continue with it and make sure that the children do not actually feel a lot of gap. Much as they may be losing you forever, there should be a continuity from where you stopped, which is very, very important. May their souls rest in eternal peace, and that's what we can always say from where we came from, and it is where we'll be going. And that's many times what people say to that kind of scenario which happens. Okay, that is it. Let's move away from that, and there are a lot of issues that we want to dive into, a lot, but we'll just be tackling them little by little and move on with them later, and also exclusively have others be digested in the subsequent hours. Let's start with the big stories in the region. Talk about the issues to do with government programs and also the the delivery of services at local government level. There are a lot of issues. If you followed the Nilecast yesterday, there was a community dialogue that was organized in Terego East constituency, in Terego district, that was really championed by the member of parliament, that is Honorable Obiga Kania, who is also the state minister for urban development in the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. That was organized in Omugo sub-county. And in this community dialogue, it was actually clearly understood that most of the community members are not feeling the implementation of most of these projects, and development at a village or parish level is not yet really felt so grave, or people would say they are not really appreciating it because the services have not really reached to the taste of the citizens. Okay, That's one thing that is already said there. And if you look at some of the conversations that came through from that discussion, where people say community members blame the leaders over poor service delivery, you will understand that in some of the health facilities, it is VSTs who are actually delivering mothers, okay? And also you will realize that the watchmen and also many other people, including the cleaners, are giving drugs at some health facilities in Terego district. And this is one thing that is actually very hot, really coming from the community members. And they were asking a lot of questions in regards to this. Why really should services be in that way? Does it mean that they don't really put money or pay taxes to pay health workers at these health facilities? Is what is actually happening there. And also, if you look at some of the issues, especially at the societal problems that are really coming up from the communities, and they feel like they needed to be helped in them, this include a lot of issues to do with high teenage pregnancies, child marriage, and also talking about the issues to do with the defilement, okay, and also the issues to do with high drug abuse, okay, the high rate of drug abuse among the young people. Many young people want to sit along the roadsides and also start watching vehicles and so on. If you remember the statements from the DPC, that is Martin Karechenko, he actually explained that there are so many youths who are always counting his vehicle and was shaking the head like this, that 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is because most of the parents have neglected their roles of empowering, of building the capacity of the young people to be like them, okay? In the traditional or in the early years, you will realize that when a parent is going to the garden, or the father and the mother, they are going to the garden, they always pick the children, including the least or the last born. They all go to the garden. The ones who cannot hold the whole handle, they all sit in a shade, okay? They sit under the shade and sit there and wait for people until they finish digging, or they get tired of digging, and that's when they all go and take tea or eat any snack snack that is brought to be enjoyed for those who are digging. And thereafter you will realize that these people, after digging, they go home, they prepare, the children are sent to the to keep animals, to graze maybe the cattle, or take the goods to tether and so on. And that keeps the children, the young people, in a confined place, in a well-trained manner. And they realize that eventually this becomes part of them. They feel like every day when I'm free at home, I'm not at school, I should pick the hoe and start maybe cleaning the compound. Also maybe going to the garden, digging and so on. They feel it for themselves, and they feel like when they stay at home, they'll be seen as idlers, and the parents will begin shouting. And that's one way people used to raise their children. But now if you look at what is happening, it's actually contrary. Most of the parents, sometimes one parent is going to the garden, and yet the other is not going to the garden. And you realize that the children continue to copy some of this mindset, or some of these mentalities, where maybe the woman remains behind, or the husband doesn't want to go to the field or to the garden to dig. So you realize that some of the children begin to also dodge like the way their father or the mother is dodging. So you realize that many of these things keep occurring. They keep occurring, and it happens that people will not be able to change the mind, and will not be able to impress some of these activities like agriculture and many others. So health facilities are really not having better health workers is what is actually happening there. So if you look at that kind of thing, it's quite assuming that most of the health facilities, especially those that were mentioned, are not really attracting more or much of the health keeping all health workers do not want to stay at workstations. That is tantamount into negligence of duty, which is against the penal code, okay, and that will be punishable by law. So that is one thing that we should be able to understand, that community barazas are very, very important. And also going to the community, understanding their demands is what we should be able to impress. If you take that seriously, you realize that the community members will be able to be happy and will be able to impress such kind of things, and will appreciate being part of the development strategies that local government sets. But if you sit in your comfort zones, you don't want to go to the community to maybe sell them the government ideas. Selling government ideas meaning the programs that government is having to maybe market them to the community is one thing that you should be able to see that every local government does. But also looking at on the other hand, the aspect of security, the issues of theft, the issues of hooliganism is also another big issue that is happening in some of the communities in Terego district. But understanding clearly that most of the conflict arises due to food shortage, or the fight over resources. Talk about firewood, talk about food, talk about land, talk about many other things like maybe access to better health care, access to education, and so on. Many other things that are coming because of this. And if you go to the detailed statistics that we have, and according to UNHCR, that is United Nations High Commission for the Refugees, in their report of March 2023, you realize that there are 177,663 refugees that are hosted by Terego district, and this is one of the big issues that is happening there, and these are all hosted in Terego East constituency, and where you have the challenges of staff not being on duty, where you have this overwhelming even number of people who need the services, and that's quite unfortunate thing that is actually happening there in Terego district. So the concerned authorities, please let's take these concerns raised by community seriously and be able to actually respond to them. But also, if you look at the statements from the this district RDC, that is Festus Aikobua, he actually explained that he has dispatched his team to go and visit the mentioned health facilities and also understand why VSTs should be the ones administering drugs, prescribing drugs, and also doing diagnosis, or somebody will say maybe writing down the disease history and also testing people on the various diseases that they have maybe come, or complaints that they have come with at the health facilities is one other issue that is actually happening there. But also we hope that such discussions could be helping the leaders to actually look at what should be done. If you look at the gap that do exist there, according to the deputy speaker, is the issues of monitoring. Technical persons do not want to go to the field, and even the politicians went, when the executive committee on social services went to those health facilities that were seen not to be having the people on ground, especially the workers. Talk about the health workers generally, the trained ones, I mean the trained health workers. They actually said they did not find that the technocrats were able to go to these health facilities, and that is one thing that should be taken strongly. What is it that the office of the health officer, the health inspector, the health educator, and many others that are there, the maternal and child health, and so on, many other departments within health, what is it that they are doing at that local level is one thing that is really we need to look at and follow up seriously or critically to understand what is happening there. And also in terms of access to health services, please let's utilize the available health facilities, especially the citizens. Let's use them very well, conveniently. Let's not just run to the health facilities because we heard that drugs arrived yesterday, and that has been really the mentality of people. People want to go and pick drugs early so that they keep them, and then after keeping the drugs for quite a longer period of time, and you realize that you have not been able to get the disease you thought you should be able to reserve the drugs for, and that becomes a wastage. And that is one challenge. You are actually misusing the drugs that will be there to help some people who are sick. Somebody is sick, for you are pretending to be sick, and you want to go with drugs. And that's one thing there that really we need to impress. If we have technical persons at that such health facilities, they'll be able to actually test such a patient or somebody who will be coming to claim that he is sick and yet he is not sick. That will be tested. Okay. Now, if you allow VSTs to be the persons to attend to the patients, how sure are you that they are actually giving you the rightful reports? How sure are you that they are writing the rightful diseases? The history might be there, but their IQ or the knowledge of judgment about a disease is not there. As a VST, this might be a P7 dropout or even senior 4 dropout. Even if a senior 6 dropout, there's no medicine that is taught in secondary school. Okay, in terms of administering drugs, these are for professionals, and not really everyone has to be termed as a health worker, and that he should be able to proceed with administering drugs at health facilities. That is not really the case. Okay, so we need to look at those avenues and really understand to ourselves that we need to actually look at who is delivering what service at what point. Okay. For instance, if teachers are deployed in a school and the teachers decide to move away and allow some parents to come and teach pupils, just imagine what kind of output will be seen in these children, in the future of these children. That means it's the same experience in the health facilities. If you have health workers who are deployed and they don't want to be, or they don't want to be at the workstation, and it is the VSTs attending to people or persons, that is very unfortunate. So absurd to see people dying in the hands of untrained health workers. Okay, the VSTs, by the virtue of what they are supposed to do, they are supposed to actually be administering, or they are just supposed to be giving drugs based on clinical diagnosis. Clinical diagnosis is mainly what is said to be observation, not really testing or doing anything else. But you look at the person, and after seeing and having a feel of what is going on, maybe if he says his body temperature is so high, you put your hand on the head or on any of the parts and start detecting whether it is high fever or not. But also they use the thermometers that they put in the armpit, okay, in the armpit, and you keep it there for a few minutes or seconds, and thereafter they check your temperature from there, and that's where they do their judgment. It's not that these are professional workers, but they are just at the point of helping children in case of malaria. Okay, that's why they are moving with Quatem every time, and also those testing kits. But that does not mean that they should be able to move to health facilities to administer drugs, because they are not health workers. What if somebody collapses in their hands? What if they prescribe a wrong drug and the patient dies? What if somebody goes and sues the health facility for over negligence and loss of life? Okay, that is one thing really we are talking about. We need to actually do our work diligently. And if you are a professional, you have been deployed for work, remember there were so many people who actually went for interviews for the same work, but you were picked because you presented the basic requirements that you will be able to do the work as demanded, as needed by the public, as needed by your supervisors. But why is it that you have to be followed each and every day is what we are actually asking this question to the public now. What is it that we should be able to do for such persons who do not want to be at duty stations is what we should be able to look at. And we are aware that the public standing orders are very, very clear on this, but also the penal code is very clear on this. The ethics and the terms of their work are also there. And also when you look at the guidelines issued by the commission that really recruits them, it's very, very clear that when you go for the work, this is what you are going to be doing. From this day to this day, you should be on duty, okay? That is what is happening. But if you are not really impressed in that, that means the work that has been assigned for you, you are not actually ready to do it. You have to leave it for other people to actually do. Because the role of a health worker is more or less the work that God did some time back. Some of the miracles performed by Jesus Christ are some of the things that you are doing now. Making sure that somebody doesn't die, prolong the life, is what you are supposed to do. So how do you diligently serve the people? What if that was your mother coming and sees that you are not even at the health facility after paying you all that school fees and bringing you through all these ranks, and now that you're employed, and she feels that she wants to go and be attended to by the son, the daughter, but did not find the daughter at the health facility but found a VST. And the VST wrongly prescribed these drugs to your mother, and your mother is dying. How do you feel about this? Look at some of these circumstances at personal level. If this happens to me, how will I feel? Or how will the feeling be like for me? And that should be the same thing you should be able to do to other people. Let's not really do this kind of things to fellow human beings. Negligence of duty is one thing that is not needed at all. Even in the private sector, it's not impressed. It's not one thing that is people want to appreciate. There's no one who wants to pay somebody for not doing any work, okay? And that's why the term that is called value for money is so highly spoken. It's outspoken. It's every time like an o'clock tilting, okay? The minutes moving. Okay, it's the time when people really look at how far you have been able to do the needful that we recruited you for us. And it's very, very important. If you look at that, okay, if you don't want to work, please resign. Very, very important. If you resign, people will at least say, yes, you tried, but because of some challenges, you felt you should stay. And I keep respecting you of that bold decision you have taken. But if you keep pressing people down, you keep giving people a lot of headache in terms of some of the services you are supposed to deliver, and you fail to deliver them, very, very unfortunate. So impressing community barazas is very, very important. We hope this will not be only organized by MPs or maybe by RDCs or by ministers, but it should be organized at every level. In every district, their money is allocated for community mobilization, community sensitization. Where do these monies go? Is one thing. So these monies should be able to help in organizing community barazas, on assessing service delivery, okay, on assessing what we have been able to do as a department to serve our people. That should be the thing that everyone should be able to do at every local government, even at the parish level. Our priorities, how many of our priorities that we have been forwarding to the sub-county, how many of them have been fulfilled? What is the gap that we have? What is the biggest issue in our community, in our society That will be what all these parish chiefs will be doing at a grassroots level. Even at the village level, LC1s will be able to actually take that seriously, to do community barazas or dialogues, or even organize a sensitization. You bring leaders from the district to come and speak to your people in your village, and that makes you extraordinary. And that's where really you will be able to achieve development in your area. When people are able to speak, they're able to attest that there's need to fill this service delivery gap. Trust me, there's no one who will not do that for you. People will be ready to do that because it is coming direct from the beneficiaries. It will not be like a cooked report. So let's take a break from there, and we'll be able to come back to discuss more of this. And it's a touching issue about poor service delivery in local governments. It's not about money. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Sabio family, the bigger feast this Christmas with Star Times upgrade to Kongere promotion. Nova customers on satellite decoder simply pay 20,000 shillings special bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy smart bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
This is time for working hard and producing and able to help somebody who is in need. Able to give to your loved ones. This is time for giving, for God so loved us and gave his only begotten Son. Do not go taking, give, and then you will receive. If you are planning to rob somebody, listen to me carefully, God is not happy with that. If you are planning to steal people's things, God is not happy with that. Destroy everything that makes you an enemy of your neighbor. It's only God who can destroy those tendencies in your life and that habit in your life, so that instead of taking, you are a giver, because we need to demonstrate love in our time. Again, this is not time for sexual immorality, but this is time for us to prepare ourselves to receive the blessing of God. Many of us are going to waste our bodies in going into people's homes and going with people's wives and going with people's daughters, and we are going to waste our lives out there. Listen, this is time for you to open your heart, open your hands, and receive the blessing of God. I speak to people who are listening to me. If you are listening to me and you are in West Nile, my region, will you make your body the temple of the Holy Spirit and guard it? Allow your body to be used to bless our region. Do not destroy somebody's relationship by misusing his wife or his daughter. Allow yourself to be a channel of blessing, because God brings you his life in order to bless other people. Again, this is not time for dancing the whole night. Some people are going to go into dancing spree, in discos and everything the whole night. In my place where I am seated, the devil has only given and deprived people who are wizards to dance at night. Why do they dance at night? Because they dance naked, which they can't do during the day. Why are you deprived of sleep? When you should eat and drink and praise God and go to bed and sleep, then go and worship God tomorrow without a hangover. Dancing at night, going to spend time out there with other women, with other girls, with other men, is not going to give you any benefit of celebrating such a day as this. And this is a time for praises. This is a time for worship of God, because God has given us a gift that we cannot afford.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings, Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Hello viewers, my name is Federick Dramadri. I report news at West Nile Television. I also do the Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday, discussing the issues on current affairs from the hour of 7 a.m. up to 9 a.m. Wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year 2024.
As the smiles turn Christmas and the bells jingle, dress yourself up for the stunning aroma of togetherness this festive season. Remember also to take care of yourself, a partner, family from fangs of violence and financial misuse. Receive my heartfelt gratitude and love for the support you showed towards us. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and prosperous business year 2024.
Awade fo midri angereto mini pezo West Nile TV nezo sawadi ma aliarese hazine mini vini ibizu otitantondo West Nile TV adi nezo rese miomve marusi feta Emmanuel ejolaza lape midri obitisi erozo sawa nari erozo udua lo pere tazu udua aziani ani ameche tuambo Christmas nirumatiabo majokini lete tuambunde maati amadria moke azine adroma temibe ma kobine miaza ituambudi ma aldia ili odiri ma fevini amadria moke madia ni jokini ngoni Merry Christmas awadfo ituambosi adroma temibe.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. We took at least a very long break because really we are joined by a guest, and that is Ernest Njama, who comes from a Young Anti-Corruption Coalition. Will be discussing a very a very important thing here on the show. And earlier I told you that we'll be discussing about the citizens' participation in nation building. What is it that people have to do, especially the citizens, the locals, and so on? Remember earlier we were discussing the issues to do with provision or delivery of services to the people in one of the community barazas, where you clearly understood that some of the health facilities are operated by VSTs, askaris, and cleaners, and this is just down here in Terego district. So quite unfortunate thing, and this came out from a community baraza, and this was reported in Omugo sub-county, and that is one unfortunate thing that is happening there. So that is the need to have those kind of barazas happening. Okay, if you organize them frequently, you'll be able to understand the need of your people. You'll be able to really understand where the service delivery gaps are. But we are not really going to discuss so much from that side. But if you've just joined in, there's one breaking news from Zimbabwe, where the police is actually investigating a case of minors filmed who really had drinking alcohol in a group, and it was like a drinking competition for the children, and that is one thing that has attracted the international bodies asking whether human rights are being observed in that country, that is Zimbabwe, but also what government is doing about this, because really if alcohol is at the vicinity or exposure to the children, that becomes a very threatening thing. But my guest is here, Ernest. You're most welcome to the studios.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, that is him, and let's pick it direct from where I feel it's best. And let's start it from maybe how was your Christmas and Boxing Day? Yesterday, people boxed a lot of colleagues.
The Christmas was so good.
Yes.
The catchword is always merry. It was merry-making. The Boxing Day, I think it was not very good.
Hey, what happened?
You know, the tradition of Boxing Day is that we should be, by yesterday, the Boxing Day, we should be opening boxes where gifts were served, were given.
I thought Boxing Day is where people exchange blows.
No.
That's most of the things that we perceive, by the way.
But I think I did not have boxes to open, so I would
did not enjoy Boxing Day.
I did not celebrate. I did not enjoy it.
Okay, from some parts of this country, unfortunately, some people died on the Boxing Day. But also, we got reports of the positive side that countrywide, Uganda registered over 200 births on Christmas Day, and this is one big story there that is running on different media platforms, and we appreciate the mothers who have been able to keep it that way. But also having eaten food, good food with a new visitor is one thing that is also very, very good, worth appreciating. We hope that the lives will be kept very, very well. Let's come to the topic of discussion, the citizens' participation in nation building. What does this mean? And really, who is this citizen? What about nation building? What are these two big terms all about? Maybe let's start it from there.
Thank you, my listeners. Nation building and the citizens' participation, citizens' role. These are the foundations on which the state and the destiny of the people in a given country actually lie. Like any other legal entity, just like also a natural being, you and me, we have a day we are born and a day in nature, unfortunately, we must die at the same time.
It's not unfortunate. When you were born, you didn't know where you were going. Yeah. So when you are dying, you're supposed to be living like
it's
that.
It's the unfortunate part because really, naturally, nobody wishes to live this good life on earth and therefore die. But the state, like any other legal entity, is what we express as having a going concern. It's not die. It's not. It should be seen to be growing. It should be seen to be existing and serving the wishes of the people. The wishes of the people are in the services: education, health, security, where you and me, the ordinary son and daughter of the land, can enjoy his her right to the fullest. So can we see the state, in this case we're talking about Uganda, can we see Uganda from the day of its birth living and continuing to serve the wishes of the people that live within its boundaries? Now, for the state to be able to deliver the services to the people, there are certain things that must exist. And that's why the state is structured in a manner that three organs must drive its existence. And these three organs, civic education, we normally refer to the legislature. That's where a decision must be made. The legislature, the parliament. In the local governments, we have the councils. The executive, once a decision is taken, it must be implemented. The executive implements this decision. But also, there could be a disagreement in interpretation. So some other person, organ, must sit to decide, to arbitrate, to make a judgment that yes, this act is right or this act is wrong. And that's where the judiciary falls. So can we see the three organs? The parliament, the executive, the president, and all those who serve under him, and the judiciary working to fulfill the needs of the people. The citizen is the woman, the man, the child, and the grown up, the adult in this country. Every other person reduced to the fundamental level of the individual is the citizen.
Okay, that is it, and you have been able to clearly or elaborately break for us those two terms. I hope people will be able to understand them and also see how they correlate. Okay, that's what we're going to. And if you look at most of the programs or projects that have been implemented in this country, we have seen most of the projects failing in the implementation stage. And this is attributed to really a low community or citizen participation or involvement in most of these projects. And also, if you look at some of the aspects of where people are supposed to participate, talk about election, democracy, many other areas where people are supposed to be, but you see most of the citizens shying away or really retracting their efforts or energy from being part of such developments or such activities. And this has actually dragged Uganda behind. If you look at the rankings right now, we talk about corruption, we talk about justice implementation, and also many other things. In terms of development, generally, the country is not doing well on the global scale. And this is attributed to a really low citizen participation. And maybe what do you have to say in relation to this? What is it that you think the citizens should have been involved and all they should be knowing that role they're supposed to play in such a development or a center that you are setting in the country?
The role of the citizen can be summarized into about five key areas. Randomly, when you were introducing this show, you made reference to certain key words. One I want to capture is rights and freedoms. Two is around security. Security of the person. Rights and freedom really relate to the individual. Security of the person, and security of property. Property both of the individual at the household level and what belongs to us in common. Property held in common. You are just making reference to projects. That's where the common properties fall. Are we talking about school learning, school infrastructure, health infrastructure, roads infrastructure? Those are properties held in common. The environment probably is a third area. The fourth is around the decision making, particularly on the citizenry. Is a very big conglomeration of individuals across the country. Uganda has about now 45 million, close to there now.
Yeah, about 45 million people.
There people.
Yes.
But even if you look at the ants, these black ants that we see moving around, the red ants that we see moving around, even at that level, nature dictated that there must be one among others that leads. So participation in making choices on who should lead these 45,000 million people in the country. Those are around 5 key areas where we as the citizens are expected to play a role. you are just making reference to around security, which is only one area.
Yeah.
If you go to Article 17 of the Constitution, actually, it is clearly stipulated. It clearly provides what we are supposed to do as citizens of this country in national building. And I want to talk from that, that point of reference. That one, well, if you look at the details, the roles that are defined there, there are about 10 roles that are defined. But I will summarize them into about 5 key.
Maybe before you go to that, there are many times, much as we know our roles, what we're supposed to do in the country, but sometimes at what point do we come is the issue. Where do you think the challenge should have been, especially for the citizens who fail maybe to turn out for or to participate? Generally, you feel like I think it is useless for me to go and do anything of that nature. Maybe sometimes, for instance, let's take elections. Some people feel like it is wastage of time. Maybe when they are for community baraza, some people feel like it is a wastage of time, because when even we speak, we will not be able to be appreciated, or sometimes we need something to eat before we go for that. Where do you think the citizens should be able to come? At what point? Yes.
The entry point is at a decision level. The entry point is at decision level. And for now, I just want to take 2 dimensions of decision making. One, you have just made a reference to elections. That is where we make the first and fundamental decision in nation building. In the national building process, in the leadership process, in the governance process, there must be somebody to take the lead. And we must take a decision on who is this person that should lead us at the local level, at the national level, representative level. That is where we must play the first and most critical role. Because the moment we take a wrong decision at that stage, then we usher in garbage. I hear the word now is going ICT. And there's a common saying in ICT, garbage in, garbage out. The moment we put rot in as our leaders, we don't put in the right leaders, then we will not expect the right output in terms of development and services. That is the manifestation in service in national building.
Okay, we'll continue. Let's take a break here. We'll continue. And for those of you who have just joined in, this is the West Nile Kokoliriko show. Okay, the West Nile TV Kokoliriko show, the program that comes every Monday to Friday. It starts from the hour of 7 a.m. up to the hour of 9. And we are here discussing a lot of issues to do with citizens' participation in nation building. You know, it's a very, very important for you to understand what your role is and at what point your role matters, and that's very, very critical. We are coming back shortly after this break. We'll be really coming back again and to discuss more of these issues. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings, Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier, we are discussing pertinent issues to do with citizen participation in nation building. But also, if you look at what is there as the content of this is where do we come from and what do we need to do? What do we need to understand from the participation of the citizens is what we are discussing here. But also, how about the impact of their participation? I'm joined by the executive director, my Young Anti-Corruption Coalition, that is Macho, and that is Ernest Nchama, who is here with me discussing this. We are doing it together here on the Kokoliriko show. My name is Federick Dramadri. I hope you are outside there enjoying the show, and also you can really get to us or share with us what is actually going on elsewhere, and be critically understand it that you can share what you feel about what we're discussing on the social media platforms, including the YouTube channels and also Facebook, where we are live on. Okay, it's very, very important for us to understand what you also think about what we're discussing here. Maybe, Ernest, let's start it from where is the challenge? Where is the challenge in terms of citizens' participation in nation building?
Just before we go to the challenge, can we build from where we left?
Okay.
We are at the point of saying the fundamental point of entry is the decision making. Yeah. I just made a reference to the decision process.
That. Yes.
And of course, it is important that each one of us should play his her role at this level. First, you make sure you register so that you are eligible to vote. You vote. The second level of decision making is at the service delivery point. And that is where the citizens are expected to take a decision on what services they need, planning and the budgeting process. Now, at the higher level, when we see services failing, our expectations not being, our wishes not being fulfilled, the failure starts here. Did we play our role rightly at the planning stage? So when we have these community meetings, we just made reference to the barazas. The barazas come at a certain level. Here we are now engaging on probably on how well have we done, have we executed the plans that we had at the level of monitoring. But of course, there's also the first level of a reflection on what do we need. That is still the planning, a baraza at the decision formulation process. So at whichever level, it is important that we participate so that we inform the development and service delivery process. National building will be, very quickly our mind will go to development programs, projects, and it is at the consultative level when the communities are reached out and their views are sought on what do they need in terms of projects, in terms of services. So at that stage, we must play our role. Now, where is the challenge? The challenge is also twofold. One, on our part as the citizens. Many a time when we are asked to come in and voice our concerns, our interests. But a number of times I've made a reference to the agency principle, the agency theory. You know, in state building, in national building, we as the citizens actually are the owners of the government, of the state, of the nation. The nation is us, not the leaders. The three organs who I just made a reference to are executing a delegated function. They are there because not every one of us can be there. So we decide, can you lead us in the political arena? Can you lead us in the civil arena, in the technical environment? Now, our views to these structures, these organs, is delivered at the consultative level, whether it is a planning and the budgeting consultations, whether it is these political consultations by our representatives, where they need to get our views and then go and present in the relevant forum, whether it is the council or the parliament. These consultations is where we influence the decision-making process, the development process, the service delivery process. How freely, how willingly do we come in and participate in giving that raising that voice is where the critical problem is for us, particularly as the citizens.
Okay.
Where we don't come in, you know, when you move along the roadside, especially around the electioneering periods there, there are people who gang around and they are there to only pronounce something small. They are interested in what can I take now that satisfies my need today, not projected, not reflecting on what input do I need to make in this process, so that a decision that is taken tomorrow on my behalf is the right decision that favors me, that meets my really interest. They don't reflect on it. That's where the biggest challenge is. Driven by the handouts today. But two, at the higher level, which is normally, of course, also fast decision making. When the citizens' issues are being reflected, are being discussed, reflected on or discussed, whether it is at the parliament or the council level, there are also incidences of biases that come in. Personality factor, selfishness. Actually, you also made a reference to corruption. That is where corruption begins. Whereas we have the cries of the people, but there are few leaders, not all of them, may not necessarily be all of them, but they are leaders, people in critical positions where final decisions are taken, who will want to look at, but where is this program, this project going? That is where we start failing national building at the second level, where the leaders are involved. Two, benefits that accrue to the citizens are looked at, are relegated at the secondary level. Primary interests are taken into account. From the decision level, can I take this project to where I come from? Who have been my voters? And we do not look at where the critical need is. I have a number of times made posts on certain platforms. In West Nile, we are battling a lot with the access issues, physical access. You have heard Pakwach Bridge has developed several cracks, and commitment to rebuilding let me just call it rebuilding. Technically, they have their languages. Rebuilding the bridge so that those floods on the road do not arise. Had been initiated long ago. But in action, what do we see? Even when the minister came in and made pronouncements in the floor of the parliament, we are redesigning. It remains words of mouth. We have been discussing a lot about access from the lower West Nile, Adjumani, Atiaki Adjumani. These roads have been there in the plan. Years in, years out. Budget in, budget out. They remain in plan. Now, the question is, that person who takes the critical decision at the prioritization, that this should be number one, what is his feeling? What is his attitude? Where does he put his focus? Is it the national focus, or it is a focus on where did I get my vote? Where do I come from? The moment those other plays, non-objective, subjective issues come in, then we start failing national building.
Okay, looking at these issues you have highlighted, we have clearly understood that the issues of interest comes in to kill the citizens' rights that they'll be enjoying from this kind of strategies, and that actually affects the quality of citizenship and also the development goals that we want to achieve. So what do you think could be done around this to improve the issues to do with the maybe regional balance in terms of the services that are being rendered? Because many times people value their input, or the citizens value whether what they did some time back has an impact is due to maybe the services that are brought to them, one. Two, maybe because of what they see, if it is balanced with the other regions. You see that sometimes that is how they gauge whether their efforts are being served or not. But if you look at some moments, some of the citizens are in the category of immediate gain. Okay, maybe if you have come today to participate in a dialogue, I expect to go with something in my pocket. So that means tomorrow, if I come back and I realize that nothing was given the other time, I will not come today. You see that? That is something that is that. So maybe what should be done in order to really make sure that people appreciate their participation in terms of building the nation through different interventions that have been brought?
Knowledge building is a process. I always believe in this. Knowledge building is a process. And part of the problem on us as the citizens is arising from knowledge gap. We look at leaders that we elect as sometimes as sources of income.
Is it not them who are actually also training us?
I don't know.
Sometimes. Even in
the fact that probably I have played a role in this leadership formation process. I am campaigning for somebody, I have voted somebody. My immediate mind is, this is where I should continue milking. Now, that's where we get the game wrong, and that's where we need to correct. Is it possible that we take our participation in these processes, whether it is at the leadership formation process, the election process, or service and the development program process, where we are discussing issues of programs, projects at the community level? Can we look at this as our duty? And actually that's the word we use in the laws, in the Constitution, as a duty. The moment we understand it as a duty, we are not going to ask anybody, because you know it's my role, it's my duty. It's So I am going there because I am obliged by my inherent right and duty. So I will not ask anybody whether there should be a cup of tea, a soda served with biscuits, will not, or transport reimbursement will not arise. Now, that calls for the second point of that goes to civic education, and therefore it's important that the state judiciously exercises its obligation to create awareness in the citizens on what is desired of them, what is their role, where is their contribution expected. If we put this as a running program, because we also have, every day we have children who are born, every day individuals who graduate 1 year to second year, from the childhood to decision-making stage, adulthood. So we need to program ourselves in a manner that we keep this information flowing, so that we reach each and every citizen with the information on what is expected of them, what is their role. So that civic education should be a going process, an ongoing process. Probably when we get to understand what we are supposed to do in this process, then we start running away. We start living these appeals for the small things that meet our immediate demand. And that's why in developed countries, you see people, ordinary people, who support a given position or candidate or maybe party, making contributions in support of that particular program, that particular candidate, that particular party, so that because they know they are driving their own agenda, and therefore they support that process of driving their own agenda to ensure that it takes the lead, it takes the precedence. That's where the difference now falls between us in the developing countries like Uganda today and other developed countries. Yeah.
Okay, that is it, and I want to appreciate that you have been able to follow us from the start, and we are left with 1 minute. Unfortunately, we are ending it from here, but let me have your final words as we move out of the studios to pave way for the news in Lugbarati that is going to be brought to you by Fetime.
I want to conclude on the point of monitoring and evaluation of the national building process. Service delivery process, development program implementation process, and the leadership, the role that they play, leadership performance process. It's incumbent upon us to evaluate this, to participate in this process, so that we know whether the services, the functions we desired of a particular entity, of a particular leader we ushered in, are going the way we expected. It is only when we come in, project monitoring, service monitoring, these barazas, that the interfaces with the leaders. There's a very interesting program that I always hear. Leaders talk to them. Actually, that should be the talk among the citizens. It is there that we get to understand what the leaders are doing, what is being done, whether we are benefiting, whether what we desired of them, the services are really coming or not. Critical role in oversight process as the citizens is critical, and it's only then that we can actually detect where the gaps are and inform the leaders on what should be done. I like the president for one thing. However small that view you hold is, when it means a lot for him, he recognizes it. You just learned what happened in the West recently. Is it Kamwenge, where we had an attack, and a little lady who escaped from the attack reported to the army. And the president did not take that role slightly. This lady did not participate in fighting the war, in deflecting the rebels. But just that report alone is critical to ensure that the rebel work, the security is maintained. And that is what is expected of us as the citizens.
Okay.
Can we monitor and report?
Okay, all right, that is from N. Senchama, who is the Executive Director, Mayanga Anti-Corruption Coalition, but also we have been discussing the issues to do with citizen participation in nation building. Remember, there are a lot of issues that we have been able to at least give you detailed here, and I hope you have been able to take it seriously. From now, you can be able to share knowledge or really be able to participate in most of these programs that have been brought, and also be a watchover of how these programs have been implemented. It's your role, it's your responsibility to be part of it. If you're not, you will not really be going further. I remember in my second level where people used to campaign, and it is when it is time for open campaigns, they will say, if you give me the mandate, I'll give you the mandas. That is what they used to say. But let's not take it like that, because it doesn't help when we actually want gifts before we deliver, or we support implementation of certain programs, or we participate in certain programs. That doesn't help us a lot. So it's very, very important that we do it together as a nation if we want to grow. And behind the camera, I had Dijon Pro, and also I have the producer Aldo, who is there with Boniface, who will be coming up next with the Northern Request Hour. But before we come to the Northern Request Hour, we'll have the news in Lugbarati that will be brought to you by Faith Emmanuel. My name is Federick Dramadri. We say, this being the concluding remark, the last word for the Kokoliriko Wednesday edition. Thank you. Let's meet again tomorrow.